Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my final seasonal reading recommendations list. This is my reading recs for winter. I've done a reading recommendations now for spring, summer, and fall, so I figured I could round this out. I could do winter and then do this again probably in a few years when I have a few more books under my belt. And winter, actually, these are kind of small. I have quite a few books that I've read that like take place during the winter time or give me, I guess, like winter vibes. At the same time, I didn't really enjoy them, so I can't necessarily recommend them to you. But I do have a pretty decent stack, I guess I could say. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the fantasy books. I only have one. Now, fantasy in the wintertime just makes the most sense. You want to read like a cozy fantasy. You want to curl up with a good fantasy novel. And to be fair, this winter, fantasy's kind of been all I've been reading. But I feel like I recommended so many different ones over the various past seasons that the only one that I can really think of is Emily Wilde. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is the first in the Emily Wilde trilogy. This kind of takes place over the winter time. She is traveling to a place that is completely covered in snow. So to me, I think snow, I think winter, I put them together. Therefore, I think Emily Wilde. And I also think this is just a great kind of cozy with definitely a bit more of a plot and a very good slow burn romance that I think would definitely take place very well in the winter time to be read. In this book, you follow Emily Wilde. She is a scholar. She studies fairies and fae, and she goes along with, I almost said Stoker, oh my. She goes along with a colleague of hers named Wendell, and it's a very slow burn romance. We are discovering fairies. We're in this very northernmost town that is covered in snow and ice. The setting makes perfect sense for the winter time. I recommend this one. Next, I have a few romances, and these, I mean, once you see them, you're gonna be like, yes, of course, these make sense for winter time. I have two Christmas romances, one New Year's romance, and one just like a general winter romance, and that is, of course, A Winter in New York. This is by Josie Silver. I think I read this in either December or January one year, and it just kind of stuck with me. It was absolutely perfect for this season. I don't remember too much about this other than feeling like it was a rom-com. It was two people who were kind of unlikely to be together. I believe the male main character was a chef. I think he actually worked in an ice cream parlor. Yes, he works at a gelato shop. Okay, I remember really enjoying this. He has a kid, and it's very much so like happenstance, very rom-com, very winter in New York. It was so good. I actually really quite enjoyed this one. I remember really liking it as well. And of course, the title, the setting, the theme, perfect for the season. Two holiday romances that I actually ended up really loving. One by Christina Lauren is In a Holidays. I don't think I've ever found a Christina Lauren book that I haven't enjoyed quite yet. And this is a fun kind of, I'm pretty sure this is like a Groundhog Day situation where this girl is going to visit with her family and like family friends in a cabin for the holidays. And something happens and like it's Groundhog Day. It happens over and over and over until she kind of figures it out. And it's very fun and quirky. And I remember really enjoying the main character and really enjoying the love interest as well. And like I said, you can never really go wrong with a Christina Lauren. This is a perfect Christmas romance. And another one that I actually really enjoyed as well because it was just so funny is Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogel. Another great Christmas romance. I'm pretty sure the male main character in this is Holiday Spirit, yes. Because what she does is she plays a vinyl record backwards of All I Want for Christmas Is You, and she conjures up Hall, who's a holiday spirit, and it's a romance, and it's cute and fun. And I remember taking lots of pictures of this one because he says a lot of hilarious things. Like I remember there was something about Arby's, and he was like, yeah, they have the meats. And it was just like so nonsensical the way he said it. It was just so funny. I remember really enjoying that. So if you're looking for a cute, like, you know, holiday Christmassy romance, these are two of my recommendations. And then if you're looking for a really great kind of New Year's, maybe January, wintry style story, we have This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. I remember reading this, I think like January 1st, and falling in love. I believe I gave this 5 stars. In this, again, we're following two different people from two different sides of the tracks. I remember they both have the same birthday. She comes from like a very low class family, and he's very like rich, and they come together at like a birthday party. It's like his birthday party, but she decides to go to it anyway because it's like a party that her friends invited her to. They end up meeting, going on dates. It's just, oh, it was so good. I remember loving this so much. Sophie Cousins has like some of the best writing. I need to read more from her because I loved this story. Highly recommend this. Okay, next we're gonna move into some thrillers, which is really fun and exciting. At first, we have Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors, solely just because this takes place in a cabin in the woods in the snow, and they're snowed in. And it's perfect, and I think it's perfect for the season. Actually, I also feel like maybe I read this in the winter too, but maybe not. Who knows? I probably could have read it in the summer. This is my first and only Alice Feeney that I've ever read, but it was so good. I remember the twist really got me in this one. We're following this couple. I think the husband or the wife, the husband has facial blindness, so he can't even recognize his own wife. They go on this, like, they win this weekend getaway to Scotland. Then they end up not really winning it, so someone is lying there, and it's very interesting. They get snowed in. It's a little spooky, a little creepy, a great thriller. I had a really good time with this one. Another very wintry thriller is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This book was so much fun, very twisty, very turny, very, like, you have to suspend some disbelief because a lot of wild stuff happens at the end there. But in this book, a bunch of writers win this kind of award to go to this very well-established writer's retreat in her cabin in faraway north, and they get to, like, work to kind of get their book published, and it just becomes absolutely wild. So many different things happen. It's a little spooky, a little creepy, but most of all, it is a fun thriller ride, and if you, again, can suspend some disbelief, I think you'll really like this one. And then a thriller here leaning kind of on horror is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I read this year, and this was one of my favorite reads this year so far. This one, you are following from a woman's perspective as she is going on this, like, road trip with her boyfriend to meet her boyfriend's parents for dinner. And the scene, it is a very snowy evening as they're driving, and things just slowly start to get weird as she constantly is thinking of ending things. And I actually kind of want to go through and reread this book. It is quite short because once you get to the end and all is revealed, it just completely opens your eyes to the rest of the story, and it definitely makes you want to go reread it. I suggest this for sure. Now, shockingly for winter, I have a good chunk of horror here, so let's go over it. Again, this is a little bit of a thriller leaning on horror. We have The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. This was my first T. Kingfisher, I think my only T. Kingfisher. I read this when I got back into reading, and it kind of opened my eyes to horror again, made me want to get back into horror, the horror genre, and I had such a great time with this. This is like a cosmic horror. It's about this woman who's coming back to live with her uncle after a divorce. He runs this oddity shop. It's weird. I could envision it perfectly. And sorry if you can see my Christmas tree shaking. My cat is trying to eat it. And the oddity shop is very weird. She discovers like a hole in the wall. She climbs through the hole into a new dimension. It's very strange and weird, but also very spooky, and it's perfect. I don't know why it reminds me so much of the wintertime. Maybe because I read it close to the wintertime? I don't know, but I think it's perfect. I think the rest of these are all, well, okay, the last three are very all winter atmospheres, winter settings, but this one isn't, and I think it's because I read this one in the winter time that I associate it with winter, but just stay with me here. That's Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. This is a very vampire story. It's perfect. It's about this couple. Do they win a lottery? Yes, they've won an apartment. They've won an affordable housing lottery, so they get to live in this apartment in this like really elusive apartment building, elusive and exclusive. Like a lot of really famous people get to live there, and so because they win that lottery, they move into like the top floor, and they start to see bite marks on their baby. It's incredible. I had such a good time with that one. Next is We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough, another book that I read this year and absolutely fell in love with. The setting is very snowy, winter atmospheric. I really recommend this. This is a very, well, I guess this is a thriller, but it does lean on horror, which is my favorite type of thriller. It has those horror elements. In this, we are following a couple that move to this house after the woman wakes up from a coma. She's awake from a coma. Her husband's like, we bought our dream house. She's like, okay, I guess we did. It's after this like accident that she had. And they move there, and things slowly start to become really creepy. It's wonderful. And the setting is snowy. There you go. Another book that I read at the very beginning of this year, I believe, was it this year? This year's been long. We Used to Live Here Now. So We Live Here Now and We Used to Live Here Now. Read them both. Highly recommend. This is by Marcus Kluwer. Kluwer? I'm not sure. This is incredible. It is about a couple that live in this house. The one woman is at work and another woman is staying at home, kind of tending, getting everything set up. A man and his family show up knocking at the door, and he goes, I used to live here. Can I show my family around? And things just become absolutely weird. That's all I'll say. It's an incredible book. I went on Reddit in a rabbit hole after finishing this. It's just so good, and highly recommend it because the setting is kind of wintry and snowy, and there's a snowstorm. And last, if you want like an actual scary book, I mean, I feel like some of these could be scary, but this is like one of the first books I ever read that really spooked me. I read the first half of it on Reddit years ago and bought it to complete it, and I will say the first half is absolutely spooky. The second half is okay, but still a great time, and that is Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. This is about a couple that go up to a cabin in the, I don't know, somewhere in the snowy mountains, and they hear voices that sound like their own coming from the woods. And it's really spooky and creepy, and I had such a good time with this one, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it for winter. So they're all upside down, but these are all of the books that I recommend you read this winter season. I had such a good time with all of these. I think they're all perfect whether you are into romance, fantasy, or horror. I feel like I kind of covered a good variety of genres there, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.